Okay. Take me home tonight. I don't want to let you go till you see the light. Hey, Brian, are you ready? Take me home tonight. Brian, are you ready to do this? Come on. Be my little baby. Okay. What are you doing? We got a show. We got to do a show. Brian. Okay, well, I guess I'll just sit here and wait for you and just talk to myself.
I'm standing right behind you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Brian White. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 43 of Celebrity Soul Speak with Brian and Renee. Interviews from the other side. Eddie Mahoney. My wife Renee is a spirit communicator. She speaks to those on the other side, and I've been a radio personality for over 50 years. The other side established communication with us because they wish to stay in touch with this dimension. They are our teachers, the invisible knowledge that helps us on our way. They have much to share and hope that those who listen will reflect on their messages.
We are recorded live. No editing? Well, except to clear out some of the dead air. Yeah, I did say that. Hello, listeners in San Jose, California, Wilmington, North Carolina, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Washington, in the United States. Are we still united? Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Columbus, Ohio, Etten, Netherlands, Cliché, France. I think I've said those before. Maybe that's why they sounded a little bit better. So how many Eddie Mahoney songs can you name without cheating? Okay, so honestly, just sitting here, Baby Hold On, I Want to Go Back, Shakin', Take Me Home Tonight, Think I'm in Love, and without cheating, I think that's it for the moment. Well, that's just a few of his hits. Eddie Mahoney grew up the son of a New York City police officer. He was interested in a music career, but in 1966 decided to follow in his father's footsteps and joined the police force instead. That wasn't the life he was supposed to lead, and he ended that career in 1968. Eddie Mahoney changed his name to Money in 1976 when he moved to California, where he gained success with his music career. I don't know this incarnation, but he seems like a decent guy by our standards, even for celebrities. Eddie Money. Mr. Money. Eddie said, "You rang?" "Hi there, so glad to talk with you." Eddie says, "I've been hearing about your podcast and thought I may join." "Oh, please, we'd love to have you. You're on my list, you know." Eddie said, the list. I've heard about it." "Well, it's just a joke. I'm so glad you could join us." Eddie says, "So, how does this work?" "No different than when you were alive and did interviews, except I don't want you to talk about your life. I want to talk about your passing and what you're doing now." Eddie said, "That's refreshing. I don't care about that shit from when I was there." "Well, neither do I. So let's start with a question. Eddie Money was your human persona. Your spirit is made up of many souls. Who was the Eddie Money persona? What was he sent here to do? And did he do it?" Eddie said, "Good questions. Eddie was a good person, a good father and husband. He did love people and loved performing. We all have our own mission, but there's always the divine mission, and that's to help each other. That's what we do. I didn't realize when I was there how far off the track we are. I wasn't sure about this afterlife thing, but I tried to be a good person just because it was the right thing to do. Now, I get it all. You will too. So help those listening to understand what's expected of them while they're here. I mean, we all walk around saying, who am I? Why am I here? Can you help answer those questions now that you have the big picture? Eddie said, "Sure. It's very simple, really. You're just there to learn. Every person has lessons they need to learn. Earth is a school, so you are a spirit that is made of many souls. You are an eternal being, which means that your journeys end, but your life doesn't. You go from journey to journey, learning along the way the lessons you will need to become enlightened. There are levels in the dimensions. The dimensions are where you live. Right now, most of you are living in the third dimension, which is a very low vibrating in terms of energy. Most want to ascend to the higher realms where there is more available to them. Not that different from life there. The biggest problem there is that mankind will not acknowledge the afterlife. Few believe that humankind is merely a soul spending time in a human body to learn lessons. Then the human body rots away and your soul returns to where it came from, rejoins the rest of the being, and determines what its next journey will be. The hedonistic approach to life that mankind has adopted is making it difficult to show those there that they must focus on the inner, not the outer self. There is so much to be learned from so many willing to teach, but mankind will not acknowledge and embrace this part of themselves because it is a mystery and scary to them. There's nothing to fear. Death is not the end of your journey, but merely a transition from one adventure to another, just like life. You meet people and are friends for a while. Then one of you moves away. Or you work at a job and love the people you work with. Then one by one, they leave for another job. Same with death. You have an experience, then it's over. One of the biggest challenges with the time there is attachment. You get too attached to your looks, to your money, to your pets, to your family, friends, on and on. The earth journey is a temporary one, and so are the dressings that come with it. It's all temporary. Acceptance of that fact makes life easier for those who can do it. Most can't and don't even try because they aren't taught about it. There is no life manual. You're dependent upon those who are raising you, those who are teaching you, and those you are just associating with, but don't realize they have a purpose in your life to point you in the right directions. You must take responsibility for yourself and learn about the spiritual life. It's part of who you are, the largest part, actually. There are many resources for this learning. If you seek the knowledge, you will be guided to what you need. When you cross over, do you instantly become reunited with the other parts of you called spirit, or is this a process that you have to undertake? Eddie says, there is an integration where you become one with your whole being again. I can only say from my own experience that as soon as my humanness died, I felt instant relief and release from the body and all associated with it. In your terms, no, it wasn't a long, drawn-out process, but there was a time that I was only the persona of Eddie, and then I reunited with my spirit. You haven't been gone long by our measurement. What do you think of Earth, specifically your country, now? Eddie said, it's very difficult to watch someone you love heading toward the brick wall. That's all I can say about the state of humanity on Earth. Do you plan to return for another lifetime here? Eddie said, no, not at this juncture. As many others have said, I am able to help so many more from this point than just as one human there. Well, what advice do you have for us still here? Eddie said, the problem with advice is that most of the time, people don't take it. You are all on your own journey, although you were attached to each other. Finding your way through life is difficult because you are tied to the emotional and egoic life instead of the spiritual one. Take a moment to look into the possibilities. Take a moment to look into what you have ignored. You may find that there is something worth investigating. Any messages for friends or loved ones? Eddie said, I visit often. I am always listening. Just talk to me, and maybe someday you will be able to hear me talk back. Thank you, sir. Eddie said, you are most welcome, ma'am. Take me home tonight? Eddie said, be my little baby. Someone asked me this question. How do you know if you're just talking to yourself, your higher self, or if it's another entity communicating? And I can only answer for myself and my experience. When I am speaking with another entity, my mind is not working. I'm not thinking. I'm not forming sentences. The words just flow without thought. Conversations with my higher self are thought-provoking for the most part, and I do think about the conversation, about what to say next. Eddie brought up a good point when he said, I visit often. I'm always listening. Just talk to me, and maybe someday you'll hear me talk back. You have the ability to communicate with your higher self, as well as other entities, to turn on your communication highway, so to say. You have to have the intent and communicate it through prayer or meditation or whatever process you want to use. Talk to them. They hear you, and they want to communicate with you, but you have to acknowledge and believe in your own abilities and your everlasting soul. So there you have it. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us. Join Celebrity Souls Speak on Facebook at facebook.com/The Celebrity Souls Speak. And check out Renee's blog at commonsenseinwilmingtonnc.blogspot.com. Sense spelled CENTS.